Hi guys, we're going to start today's practice standing. So bring yourself to standing up. Find yourself a solid footing. You don't have to be, so kind of hip width apart is usually the rule. It's usually the rule. But if something else makes better sense for you in your body, do that thing. So you could go, I'm usually slightly wider than hip width distance apart, kind of a wide stance sort of person, but you might really love feet together. And if that's your thing, that's how you naturally stand, then that's fine. Bring yourself to standing. Think about maybe having a bit of a wiggle. So maybe it's a roll of the shoulders or a bit of a kind of shimmy, a bend of the knees, a bit of a stretch of the neck, whatever you need to feel like you're able to then drop the body into a position where it is comfortably stacked. So what I'm looking for is that sensation that it's almost effortless to stand here like this, because the body is aligned in a way that the bones are able to stack, the body is able to just sort of be suspended in space. And then from there, you're looking to drop into stillness. You might bring your gaze to look down towards the floor, keeping the back of the neck long, lifted. And if you want to, you're welcome to close the eyes. Totally up to you. Closing the eyes at this point might not make sense, in which case you're welcome to keep the eyes open, and you might just look at softening the face, releasing the sides of the jaw and the forehead. And as always, we're just spending this sort of first few moments of the practice bringing our awareness into the body. And I think for me in my practice, this standing start makes it easier for me to tap into the really tangible physical sensations in the body. There's no right or wrong way to come into that awareness. You might have your own system that you work in, but if you're looking for a point to start to get into the body, I'm going to suggest that you bring your attention to the soles of the feet and see if you can really feel the feet in contact with the floor. Which parts of the feet touch down and how heavily? Can you feel the power rising up from the feet in contact with the floor through the body? It is that resistance that allows you to stand like this. So. And then from the feet, you're gradually drawing your attention through the body, maybe from feet to crown of the head or in a different way. Building up an image in your mind of how the physical body is here. Just keeping it observational. So it's really easy for us to get caught up in all the old familiar stories we tell ourselves about the body tells us. See if you can just observe. And then in the same way that I find it easier to get a grasp on the physical body, I also find it easier to get a grasp on my breath when I'm standing, because I notice that breath creates movement in the body. So you might find yourself naturally rocking slightly forwards and backwards or side to side. That's okay, you can let that happen. Notice how it's powered by the breath. Keep the breath steady, keep it as it is. You're not looking to change it, make it into anything else here. When you feel like you've got a handle on your breath and the way it moves your body, you might start to add some gentle movement to the breath. Maybe on this breath or the one after that, or in a couple of breaths' time. There's no rush. But when it feels right for you, Your inhale is going to draw the palms of the hands upwards towards the center of the chest. Your exhale is going to turn the hands to face down. You'll float the hands down with the length of the exhale. So a motif that you might have practiced before with me. We'll build it up in the same way that we usually do. The most important thing here is you stick with your breath, not mine. The exhale, the hands fall. I like the image maybe of the hands sitting on top of the breath. Sitting on top of that experience of the breath. You can be eyes open or eyes closed, whatever works for you. Just keeping the hands moving in time with your breath. Might be pauses, top and bottom, that's fine. We're going to go for one more like this, and then we'll start to add on if you're interested. So you can stick with this if this speaks to you, or maybe on your next inhale, you draw the hands up to the center of the chest. And then you push out, as if you were expanding the bubble that you are standing in, pushing out the imaginary walls either side of you, creating yourself a space to practice in. The inhale is going to gather the arms up overhead. Again, keep that gentle on the shoulders. It doesn't have to be your biggest stretch. Exhale draws the hands down any way you like. So maybe it's palms face down again, or maybe it's hands in Namaskar. Whatever works for you. And then the same again, sticking with that. The inhale drawing up. The exhale pushing out. The inhale to gather overhead. And the exhale to float the hands down any way you like. We're going for one more full round. If you're working at a different time to me, that is fine. After your next exhale, pause in stillness. Pause in stillness here. Maybe let the hands come into contact with the body if that feels good. And just notice how the body is underneath the hands. Maybe it's hands at the chest and the belly. Maybe it's two hands at the chest. Maybe it's hands on the sides of the waist. Whatever works for you. Just know how the body feels under the hands. We'll start to make those movements a little bit bigger, a little bit more intentional. As you inhale, the arms are coming up and overhead. And at the top, you're going to catch hold of your right wrist with your left hand. So it's as simple as that. Right wrist, left hand. Your left hand is going to draw the right wrist up and over towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, you're bringing yourself into a side bend, but try to avoid your most extreme side bend ever. Start with something sustainable and reach from there. I find that putting a little gap underneath my left heel, a little lift of my left heel feels really good here. So it might be something you're interested in working. Big inhale here. Exhale to sink into it. Inhale, the arms are coming back up over the top. And we'll do the same on the other side. So your right hand is going to catch hold of your left wrist. Lengthen up as if you're pushing the left hand up towards the ceiling first. And then draw yourself over into that side stretch. And again, you might keep the neck soft. You might be thinking about keeping the shoulders soft, which could mean the elbows are bent for you. You might nudge the left hip slightly over towards the left. Maybe the right heel lifts a tiny bit if you're interested. Exhale to sink in here. Use your next inhale to draw yourself up, back to the top. So from here, we're going to draw the hands down. Hands are coming down. You can let the arms hang heavy by your sides. I'm trying to think if I've done this before in a class online. I'm not sure if I have. So go with this at your own pace. It's a slightly strange movement to start with. We'll keep it slow. I want you to imagine you're holding something incredibly heavy in your left hand, and your left shoulder is going to start to dip Your left shoulder is going to start to hang towards the floor, that left hand dragging you down. The right arm will probably at some point swing across in front of the body, and when that happens, you're going to let that movement carry on. So you're going to roll through the middle back, soften the knees as much as you need to, and then let the left shoulder draw you back up to the top. So you're rotating across the bottom, drawn back up by the left shoulder. We'll do the same thing again, exactly the same side, left shoulder drops. Let the shoulder drop, let the head hang. Let the right arm make its way across in front at its own time. And as you roll, you're looking to keep, maybe the knees are soft, but you're trying to keep this action in the sticky middle part of the back, just below the shoulder blades. The left shoulder draws you back to the top in your own time. Doesn't matter how you're matching the breath with this, we'll take it the other way. Let the right shoulder drop. Let the left arm swing across, and then let it become heavy. The body draws through the middle back, lifting eventually by the right shoulder as if you're a puppet being drawn back up by a string. Same again, right side in your own time. Left arm hangs heavy, creates that momentum that you need to roll across through the center. And then your right shoulder lifts. You're going to take it one more time each side, but make it slightly bigger. So when you're ready, it's the left shoulder that's going to release here. The left shoulder releases, the knees will soften. As the right arm swings over in front, allow it to draw you all the way down, making this a movement that comes from the whole back body, something maybe a bit more like a forward fold. Let the left shoulder draw you right back up the left side. Let the left shoulder release at the top. Don't hold it in tension. Nice. Then we'll take it the other way. Right arm is going to hang heavy. Left arm drops forwards, and we'll roll again. Slightly bigger roll, including the whole back. Maybe bend the knees as much as you need to. Roll your way through. Let the right shoulder draw you back up to the top. You're a puppet with just the one string and coming right the way back up. Very nice. Find yourself back at the top. Give the shoulders a wiggle or a roll as much as you feel like you want to. And we're going to find our way into a familiar shape here, but slightly different because we'll do it standing. When you're ready, it's an inhale. The arms are coming up overhead. You're going to interlace your fingers and push your palms up towards the ceiling. So palms pressed towards the ceiling. You'll inhale and lift the chest, squeeze the glutes. Often just the lift of the gaze is enough to find the sensation that you're looking for there, length in the front of the body. As you exhale, it's as if you've been kind of slow motion punched in the belly. The hands push out in front. You're going to soften through the knees and round the back. Tuck the chin to the chest. I'll show you it from the side. Keeping that going. The inhale squeezes the glutes and lifts the gaze. That lift of the gaze probably does everything you need it to do in the front of the body. The exhale pulls the belly in, tucks the tailbone, bends the knees and rounds the back. Keeping that for one more breath. Inhaling, you'll lift, squeeze the hips forwards, lift the gaze. Exhale, you'll draw in, pull the belly back in, tuck the tailbone, bend the knee. From there, inhale your way up to neutral, release that interlace of the fingers. And from there, just for a couple of breaths, you can take the body in any direction that you want to. So maybe hands come out in front and you're having a bit of a wiggle side to side. Maybe you're finding a big roll as if you were kind of circling a beach ball overhead, maybe one way and the other. Maybe you want to dip down over the legs for a forward fold. Maybe that's where you feel like you need to go. You can move however you like here. Unusual that I give you these bits where there's sort of no instructions on my standing. So if this is new to you, allow yourself to do something that feels nice. Try not to judge yourself for wherever you're headed. It doesn't matter. Really, really, nobody is watching, apart from people in your house, potentially your pet. Take a last breath. Do that thing that feels great one more time. And then when you're ready, let the hands come down any way you like. Cool, very nice. So from here, into some more familiar shapes, back onto kind of familiar turf after that slightly strange no instructions bit. Just bring yourself up to the top of the space that you're working in. So there's some room back behind you. Find yourself steady footing there. And when you're ready, the arms are coming up and overhead, but as slowly as you can manage it. Really tap in to the sensation in the shoulders as you draw the arms all the way up to the top. And as you exhale, you'll fold soft knees. Soften the knees as much as you need to, and then a bit more. Why not? Bring yourself all the way down into your forward fold. Let the back of the head hang heavy, and maybe you want to have a bit of a shimmy or a pedal or a wiggle, whatever feels good. Maybe you're grabbing hold of opposite elbows. It's our first time down here in our forward fold, so allow yourself any movement that feels good. And then when you're ready, on your next inhale breath, on your next exhale breath, release the fingertips to the floor. Use the inhale to slide the hands up the fronts of the legs, sliding up the shins, past the knees. The palms of the hands are on the thighs just above the knees. The elbows are going to magnetize in towards the elbows, towards the rib cage, and you'll look slightly forwards. Inhale. Exhale, slide the hands down the fronts of the legs, coming all the way back down to the bottom. Bend the knees as much as you need to allow the hands to find the floor. Let the fingertips find the floor, the palms of the hands if you can, even if that's a giant bend in the knee. Slide the hands onto the fronts of the feet, exactly as we just did, but slower. Notice the connection between the hands and the ankles, the shins, the knees. Allow the head to hang. You're unrolling the body as you rise. Hands slide up the fronts of the thighs, past the hips. The hands lengthen the sides of the waist, and the rib cage, and eventually the hands will release up and overhead. Exhale, draw the hands down again, however you like. Maybe they come out wide, or maybe it's through Namaskar, whatever works for you. We're doing exactly that one more time, but we'll just pick up the pace a little bit. Inhale when you're ready. The arms come up and overhead. Try not to be on autopilot. Fold yourself in. Notice it, feel it, adjust it if you need to. You don't have to do this the same every single time. It's the halfway lift with that point of contact. So sliding the hands up the legs, palms of the hands just above the knees, elbows snap in alongside the ribs, flat back. Inhale. Exhale, as if you were deflating the body. Let yourself hang out over the legs. Find a deep enough bend in the knees that you can make contact with the floor. Imagine placing your hands onto warm sand or soft grass or kind of clay soil, whatever suits you. The ground underneath your hands, so you can draw up a bit of power, slide it up onto the legs. Feel the feet engage with the floor. Feel that power rise in the body under the hands. The hands are coming up the fronts of the legs, past the hips. Keep this as slow as you're able to. Lengthen the sides of the waist, the rib cage. Draw past the center of the chest, and the arms are coming up and overhead. Exhaling, the hands come down however you like. Very nice. When you're ready, the arms go back up. Inhale. Exhale to fold, picking up that familiar rhythm, sticking with one breath, one movement here. This time, inhale, your halfway lift. Maybe you make a point of contact. Maybe it's the same one that we had before, or maybe you're able to come a little lower. Exhale, you'll fold. Palms of the hands are coming down onto the floor. Bend the knees so deeply that you're able to put the palms of the hands down, as we did before. But this time, you're going to send your right leg back and your left leg back to join it, and you'll hit plank. You're strong in your plank pose. You're thinking about tucking the belly in, drawing the belly button up towards the spine. And if you need to, at any point here, you are welcome to release the knees and drop the body into a half plank. You're lengthening out through the crown of the head. You're stretching the heels for the back of the room, and you've got an inhale here. Exhale here. Not going anywhere. Another breath. Inhale here. Exhale here. You thought that might have been the release, but no. Last inhale. Exhale. This time, drop the knee. This time, release the knees down to the floor. And you're pushing back, as you probably want to do, But so you're welcome to go straight to child's pose, or there might be something more active here that is interesting and pleasant after that sort of fiery sensation in plank. So you might keep the toes tucked and the hands pushing away, or you might just let it all sink into softness, into passive child's pose if that suits you. So whatever feels like the kind of best place for you to hang out. Maybe you're having a bit of a wiggle, a bit of a stretch. But then from here, when you're ready, we'll draw ourselves up and onto all fours. Coming onto all fours, we're going to ask a little bit of our hips where we're going. So we're just going to allow them some time to kind of wake up and move in a way that feels good. I'm going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing as I extend my right leg out to the side. Right leg is going out to the side. Don't worry if there's not room for it. It's not going to stay there for long. Let the right toes spill out as they want to do, probably about 45-degree angle. And then you'll draw the right foot in until the right foot roughly stacks underneath the right knee and you've got this straight line at the shin. So lots of you might have done this before with me. It's one of my absolute all-time favourites. From here, once you've got the body in this position, if I go this way, you can see, it's the tricky bit of sort of teaching on camera. It's one way and then the other. Once you've got the body in this position, you're just going to start to find a bit of movement. So maybe forwards and backwards. Maybe it's a bit circular, rolling through the hips. Maybe it's big, maybe it's small. Maybe you're looking at that kind of cat-cow sensation, which is a bit tricky to tap into here. You might walk the hands out long in front and push back. You might be taking the hands over to one side or the other. You can move however you like. And as always, there's that delicious moment where when you feel ready, when you've got a little bit of movement into the right hip, you could extend up and open through the right arm. You could move freely here. So maybe the right fingertips reach out in front. Maybe they lengthen back behind you. Try not to let yourself hang into the shoulder joint. So if we're quite flexible, we've got the ability to kind of just let that arm drop right way back to its limit. See if you can keep the arm switched on instead of just hanging out passive. You might let the right arm tuck underneath the left, reaching out for the other side of the room. You might bring the right hand onto the lower back. Move however you like. You've got another breath or so to just maybe do your favourite thing one more time. And then we'll find ourselves back with the hands on the floor. All you're going to do is slide the right knee back to match up with the left and pause there. Notice how the right arm feels, the right hip, the right leg, and we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. So when you're ready, it's the left leg extending out to the side. Let the left toes do what they want to do, which is probably turn out. Mine are about 45 degrees. It doesn't matter if yours are less or more than that. And then you'll slide the left heel in until the knee roughly stacks over the ankle. If this feels all a bit tight, all a bit claustrophobic, too small, particularly if you are tall, you can take the left foot a little bit further away. Give yourself more space. Once you've got yourself set up in that position, you can start to find that movement. Maybe you're rocking forwards and backwards. Maybe you're finding that movement in the spine, that sort of interesting flexion potentially. Maybe it's more circular, it moves side to side. You can move the body however you like here. There is no right or wrong way. Maybe the hands are moving around. And then when you feel ready, of course, you've got that moment where you sort of unfurl the body. Reaching left fingertips up and open can feel great. If it doesn't work in your shoulder to move the top arm around, you can stay on all fours. Or maybe you come up onto a fist with the hands instead. You've got that option. That's an interesting way of taking pressure away from the wrists. Move however feels good and interesting. Again, try not to let the left hand or the left arm switch off. Try to keep it engaged and interested so you're not hanging back to your absolute kind of maximum flexibility. We'll maybe go for One more breath, do your favourite thing again, or finish off whatever you're up to. And we'll meet back on hands out in front, and all that's going to happen is the left knee will come and join the right knee. The left knee comes to match up with right, and you find yourself back on all fours, just checking in. How is the left arm, the left shoulder, the left hip? How is the left leg? And then from here, we'll make our way into our first downward facing dog. If you need a release off the wrists, feel free to take it. You know where we're going and you can easily catch us up. When you feel ready, you'll push the hips back to the heels. Use the inhale to coil the spring, and as you exhale, the hips are going high. The hips are going high, and it's your first downward facing dog. I'd love for you to keep that movement happening. If it's interesting to you, adjust the hands and feet as much as you need to. Wiggle and pedal and shake and shimmy. Anything that feels like it needs a wiggle, a pedal, a stretch. Maybe you need to drop to the knees, and that is fine. If you want that moment of release, you are welcome to it. And then when you feel ready, we're dropping into one more little fiery moment before we start to bring ourselves up into a flow. Bring the heels and toes together. So heels and toes come together. The heels don't have to touch the floor. Mine still aren't. It's fine if they do not. Keep a soft bend in the knees if you want to. From here, release the knees whenever you need to. Remember, you can drop to the floor. Inhale that right leg up and back. Press up through the right heel. It doesn't have to go high. If I try and take this right leg any higher, I start to kind of fake it and lift the right hip instead. See if you can just lift the right leg. Big power in the right heel, push out, inhale. Exhale, rock off the left toes. Draw the right knee in towards your nose as much as you're able to. Inhale, send the right leg up and back. Exhale, the right knee comes to the right elbow, little Spider-Man hover, again, as much as you're able to. Inhale, send the leg up and back. Exhale, last one, well, sort of last one, right knee to left elbow, pull it across the body. Inhale to send it up and back. Exhale, right knee to nose, draw it in, pull the belly in, rock off the left toes, and right at the last minute, look between your thumbs and step the right foot forwards as much as you're able to. Adjust it if you need to. For some of us, it will not have come into a natural position. So adjust as much as you need to. And then where we're going next is totally optional. Let's release the left knee to the floor just for a moment, just so that we kind of catch our breath. And this next bit, again, some of you might have done before, some of you might recognize, some of you might want to skip completely. So totally up to you. If you are interested, we're going to find that power in the shoulders that we were just working with and have a little hop switch with the legs. You might want to watch me do it and then go for it. You're going to push the floor away, take your inhale, pop your back knee. And as you exhale, as lightly as you can, a little hop switch of the feet. You're welcome to try it. Nobody's watching you. And if it doesn't come off, who cares? It doesn't matter. When you're ready though, we're stepping, we're pressing back with the hands. If you can, the left leg goes high with one movement, and we're into exactly the same few shapes on the other side. So if you need to drop, feet to the floor, release the knees, please do, take your time. When you're ready, it's an inhale to lengthen, and an exhale to draw left knee to the nose. Pull the belly in. I told you this bit was fiery. Inhale, send the leg up and back. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, send the leg up and back. Exhale, left knee to right elbow, as much as you want to. It could just come in a bit, it doesn't have to touch. Inhale, send the leg up and back. It's your last one. You're going to draw the knee in towards the nose. Pull the belly away, tuck the chin, as if the nose might touch the knee. And at the last minute, look forwards between the thumbs and step the left foot through. Nice, very nice. We did it on the other side. So we'll release the right knee to the ground, just catch our breath. And then, if you're interested, if you want to play with it. So it's a little handstand drill. is actually what we're coming into here with that jump switch of the feet. You're really most interested in the push away from the floor. So when I push away from the floor, there's space between my shoulder blades to really fire up the upper back. If you're interested in that jump switch, it's an inhale to push the floor away, to pop the back knee. And an exhale, lightly as you can. Mine was not a good example there. Switch the feet. Don't worry if it didn't happen for you. We are stepping back and finding our way to downward facing dog just for a breath. Get to your downward facing dog, take an inhale. Exhale, maybe have a sigh. Inhale to look forwards between the hands. And as you exhale, you can walk the feet to the hands or the hands to the feet. Don't mind which. Hang out over the legs. Let the arms and the shoulders go. Let the back of the neck go. Maybe catch hold of opposite elbows if it suits you. Let the body hang out. Let the body have that kind of time to come back. Slow everything down. And then when you're ready, you're going to bend the knees enough for you to place the hands on the floor. Again, maybe imagining warm sand, fresh grass, whatever works for you. Underneath the hands, tap into that grounding, and then slowly, as slow as you're able to, slide the hands onto the feet, up the fronts of the ankles. The hands rise up the shins, past the knees. And as the hands travel up the body switches on underneath the hands, rolling you gently up to stand. Eventually the arms release up and overhead. The hands are travelling down, however you like. So this stillness, this calm, this peace is right there. It's just the other side of a couple of breaths of slowing down. So even though in that downward facing dog leg swings, you were sort of thinking, I hate her, I hate this, I can't do this. That kind of quiet is still there. So we're going to see if we can pair those things up. So that kind of intensity, that fire, that power, with that followed by that lovely kind of quiet in the body. Find yourself top of your space that you're working in. And that has got a little wrinkle. Here we go. Okay. Find your footing. And when you're ready, inhale, the arms come up overhead. Exhale, you'll lower yourself down, finding your forward fold. Maybe the arms stretch out wide and you swan dive to the floor, whatever works for you. Once you're at the bottom, it's your halfway lift on the inhale. Maybe it's fingertips or palms. Wherever you make that contact with the body, you'll inflate the body with the inhale. You'll exhale to deflate the body. This time, fingertips are going to find the floor so that you can step back, right leg and then left leg into your downward facing dog. So skip plank, hips go straight high. Don't worry, we're coming back to a plank, but skip them for now. Find yourself on 2 feet. If that cue of bringing the feet side by side helped you to feel more steady when you brought your leg overhead, then you're welcome to adjust. When you're ready, the right leg is going up and back. And as you exhale, knee to nose, look between the thumbs, push the floor away, step the right leg up. And the right foot probably will replace, or something like it, where the right hand was. So it naturally will step up to roughly about the position of where the right hand was. So I'm going to spin around actually so that you can see what I'm up to. That right hand has now sort of been a bit displaced by the right knee. And actually it's a bit easier sometimes to just take the hand away or take it out in front because the knee is obstructing the body. We're going to find a bit of movement here that will feel fiery. Go with it as much as you're able to. On your inhale breath, you can lean forwards, look forwards, rock off your back toes. And as you exhale, bend the back knee, let it skim the floor. It doesn't necessarily need to touch as the hips come back to where you started. So it's as though you're trying to roll the hips in a circle, as though the legs have become the pistons on a steam train. It is a little bit shaky, it is a little bit hot in the legs maybe, go with that. Do one more roll in this direction. And then take it the other way if you can. So a bit of a coordination challenge as well, to try and get that roll in the hips happening in the other direction. Use the feet. See if you can push off the toes as you drive forwards. And the heel as you press back. That little moment where the legs are going, I don't really want to do this anymore. I'd like to put the back knee down. That is the sweet spot. See if you can get one more there. And then this time, hop the back knee down. So allow yourself to come to stillness. Exactly as you probably want to, we're going to push back. Press the hips back in space. You're welcome to adjust the front foot if you want to. Maybe it goes out in front a bit so that you can pull the right toes hard back towards your face. The right hip stays level with the left. And we'll breathe here, nice and steady. So on your inhale, lengthen through the spine. And on your exhale, fold your way over the front leg. Inhale for length. Exhale to fold in. Maybe you're holding here, maybe you like the stillness. Maybe it's one more breath. Exhale to fold. And then we'll roll our way back onto the front foot. Rolling our way back onto the front foot for a nice moment of kind of release. You're going to bring the right hand onto the inside of the right foot and let the right foot go out to the side as much as it wants to. So make space for your body. Let the right toes turn out if that makes sense for you. And when you're ready, the right hand can come onto the right knee and just find that opening in the chest by kind of encouraging the knee away. So you're not really pushing the knee. If I show you this from the front, you can see how much I'm pushing into the knee. So I'm encouraging the knee away, but I'm not driving the knee out to the sides too much. So I'm encouraging the knee sort of forwards and away, but not kind of pressing it out to the side in any uncomfortable position. And then if you're interested, from there, you might start to find that sense of kind of lift and open through the chest, maybe the head hangs. So a couple of breaths here. And then when you feel like it's the right moment, you'll back off gently. So you're not going to release and ping out of the shape. You're going to back off gently and bring the right hand to the floor. You'll step the right foot back to join the left. And when you're ready, you'll press yourself back to your downward facing dog. There's no hurry to get there, no rush. Back to your downward facing dog. Find yourself steady here. Maybe a bit of a wiggle, a pedal, a stretch. And in your own time, inhale to look forwards between your hands. Walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. I don't mind how you get there, but we'll meet back in our forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to let the body hang out over the legs. Bend the knees and allow the hands to find the floor. Sink them into that soft, warm soil. Feel them against the cool grass, maybe. And then start to slide the hands up the fronts of the legs. Keep it slow, as if you were drawing that sensation of grounding through the hands into the body. The feet ground down and the calf muscles switch on, the kneecaps engage, and then the strong thighs power up. The hands draw that power up and into the belly, the chest, eventually releasing up and open. Exhale, the hands come down however you like. Really nice. Okay, we'll do that again. Almost exactly the same, one more time. If that little rotation, the hamstring, quadricep, kind of switch backwards and forwards doesn't make that much sense, you can do it with your knee dropped. So that's always an option if you're interested in keeping things a little softer. So find yourself steady. When you're ready, that inhale draws the arms up. The exhale folds the body in long over the legs. Make it your own. Maybe the arms are flying out wide. Maybe you soften the knees, or maybe it's straight legs, whatever works for you. Your halfway lift with your breath. The inhale is as though you are inflating the body. The exhale, you deflate. Hands to the floor. You're stepping back left foot and then right, because you're coming straight to your downward facing dog. The hips go high. Adjust the hands and the feet here as much as you need to find yourself in a comfortable version of downward facing dog, whatever that looks like for you. And then when you're ready, maybe bringing the feet side by side, if that's a good cue to help you find the lift. The left leg is going up and back. Exhale, draw the left knee into the nose. Pull the belly up and away. Roll forwards off the right toes. Look forwards between the thumbs. And you're stepping through. Left foot comes up as close as it can to the position that your left hand was just in. But you might need to adjust, and feel free to adjust if that makes sense for you. So you end up with a sort of tripod. You've got your left foot, your right hand up in front, and then your right foot is back behind you, almost as if you were sort of a kind of, what am I trying to think of here? Like a tricycle, but in reverse. I'm going to try and keep my left hand out of the way so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to roll forwards off my right toes, look forwards, inhale. Exhale, hover the back knee as you slide the hips back, up and round. So you're trying to find as if you were kind of rotating the hips in a circle on the side, as if the hands were the pistons on a train. Try not to dump the body weight down into the front of the left thigh. And you can have the right fingertips on the floor, the right palm of the hand, or the right knuckles. Don't forget, you've always got that option of a loose fist here. See if you can rotate it back the other way. So you'll take the body in the opposite direction to where you've just been. That change of direction can be tricky, can send you into a bit of a spin. So if in doubt, just come back to where you were. And then we get that familiar noise from the legs. That's that kind of, I don't really fancy doing any more of this from the legs. See if you can go for one more. And then this time you will release the back knee to the floor. Let it come down. And then as you want to, probably, you're going to walk yourself back. You're walking back. You can untuck the back toes. You can adjust the front foot to the position that you need it to be in. So you can encourage those front toes back towards your face. Take your inhale for length. Your exhale to fold over the front leg. Go again, inhaling for length. Exhale to fold and sink. One more, maybe you're staying still, maybe you're sticking with the breath. And then in your own time, walk your body weight back forwards into the left foot. Left hand comes onto the inside as you take the left foot out to the side, as much as you want to. So it can go quite far away from the body if you need that space. So I take mine probably off the edge of my mat almost every single time. Turn the left toes out as much as you want them to, maybe 45 degrees. And then the left hand is coming onto the left knee. I find it easier to drop into this on an inhale breath. So, but the choice is yours. The hips are going to start to nudge forwards as you encourage the chest open. There are variations of this shape that you might know and you might be interested in if you do want to reach back and catch hold of your toes, and that really speaks to you, you're welcome to. Maybe the head can hang. And then when you feel ready, you'll let it gently release. Try not to kind of rubber band snap out of the shape. Let the left hand find the floor. The left knee comes back to match up with the right. And when you are ready, you're sending yourself up and back to your downward facing dog, but you might take it slowly on your way there. You don't have to rush. You can pause in child's pose for another breath if you want to. When we've made it to downward facing dog, we'll just take a breath here. So joining us if you're not here, take a big inhale through the nose.
Exhale, have a sigh. Inhale to look forwards between the hands, walk feet to hands or hands to feet. And don't mind how you get there. Hanging out in your forward fold. Let the body dangle over the legs. Put a bend in the knees so that you can allow the hands to find the floor. It doesn't matter if you have to bend the knees really deeply every single time. Imagine whatever that surface is underneath the hands, ground down through the hands, and then draw that sensation of being grounded and solid up onto the body. The hands slide up the fronts of the shins. Maybe you're noticing the parts of the body here that it feels good to come into contact with. Slow this right down.
And then when you're ready, the arms are coming up and overhead. And they're floating down any way you like. Bring the hands onto the body here. Any way that makes sense for you. Whatever version of that position suits you. And exactly as we did at the start. Notice how the body is. Perhaps noticing a shorter breath, a quicker breath, a quicker heartbeat, but it's all still there, it's all still happening, that familiar rhythm. When you are ready, inhale the arms up and overhead. Blinking the eyes open maybe. As you exhale, you're going to draw the hands down to the hips. So hands come to the hips, you'll take the feet slightly wider. Then hip width distance maybe, let the toes turn out. If you know that a squat pose is not your favourite, you are welcome to come into it as much as makes sense for you and then bring yourself to sit. And you can do what we're going to do sitting as a seated forward fold instead, if you'd like. Take an inhale to lift the chest. Exhale to start to bend the knees, coming to sort of a mini goddess pose. And then from there, hands come to the knees. And then from there, fingertips come to find the floor as you creep yourself down into a little version of squat pose that suits you. So maybe you're in a squat with the heels down. Maybe you're in a squat with the heels lifted. Maybe you've come to sit. Wherever you are, I'm just going to flip this around. Wherever you are, whichever version of that position you're in, you're going to use the inhale for length to lift. And use the exhale to creep the hands forwards and to draw yourself into something like a forward fold type shape in the upper body. And you can let your squat soften off a little bit here. Maybe the knees come in a bit. The tailbone is still dropping towards the floor, but the upper back is rounded and the chin is tucked. If this is not for you in a squat, you are welcome to switch it for a seated forward fold. Take a last breath here. And then when you're ready, walk the hands back around beside the body. Hands come back beside the body and use the hands as brakes to allow the hips to find the floor. From there, we're bringing ourselves down onto our back. So if you want to grab blankets, jumpers, socks, cushions, you're welcome to. Then we're going to drop into a little bit of movement before we come down into total stillness. So if you're covering yourself with a blanket, just keep it nearby. But if you want to pop a jumper on, you're welcome to. When you're ready, you're releasing yourself down onto your back. There's no rush, no hurry. You can always catch me up. And we're just going to end with two gentle movements here. So soles of the feet on the floor. Take the feet a little bit wider. Maybe they're about the width of your mat, and let the knees fall in towards one another. So the knees drop in towards one another, allowing the lower back to release. From there, inhale, fingertips up towards the ceiling. And as the fingertips stretch up towards the ceiling, let the shoulders lift. As the shoulders lift, notice the space between the shoulder blades. Maybe you want to have a bit of a wiggle into that space. I always do. And then from there, you're crossing right elbow over left as you give yourself a big hug. And Again, you've got options here. You can make this as intense, as active, as pulling as you want to, or you can keep this really gentle and passive. So your resting dove is a lovely way to kind of get into that space just under the shoulder blades, that space that we were firing up in all of the step throughs and the leg swings. See if you can breathe into that space. See if you can use the breath to expand and intensify sensation of the stretch maybe. And then when you are ready, you'll take the exact same on the other side, inhaling to reach the fingertips towards the ceiling, let the shoulder blades lift. Cross the left elbow over the right, so the opposite to whatever you just did. It doesn't matter if you've not gone the same way as me, it really doesn't matter. But just make sure you've got the opposite grip to where you just were. Allow the hands to be switched on or to be soft. The breath nice and steady. And in your own time, fingertips are going to come back and stretch up towards the ceiling. And then from there, you'll release the hands down. Maybe they're coming out very wide, a big capital T shape, or if like me, you're a bit short on space, cactus arms. So a bend in the elbow, the palms of the hands up in line with the head, but palms of the hands face the ceiling. So that we can bring ourselves into a spinal twist here. And you've got a couple of options. You could choose to just float the feet off the floor and allow both knees to drop over towards your left. Or you could choose to wind your right leg over your left and then allow both knees to drop towards the left. So right leg over left if you're coming into this, and your knees are dropping towards the left. You can look in the same direction as the knees. You can look in the other direction to the knees. You're allowing the breath to kind of spiral and coil through the body. And then when you're ready, if you've got the legs crossed, just untangle the top leg from the bottom leg so you can roll back through to center. And then we'll take the exact same on the other side. So maybe both knees are just dropping towards the right. Maybe you're crossing left leg over right and then letting the knees drop towards the right, whatever suits you. So maybe coming into this with that bound variation, that kind of twisted tree roots type variation, or just allowing the knees to fall. Keep the breath gentle. Allow it to unwind the body. When you feel ready, no hurry, no rush. If you've got the legs crossed, you'll gently unwind them as they make their way back through to center. You might want to take some final movements here, giving yourself a bit of a hug, a bit of a wiggle, a bit of a stretch, whatever works for you. And when you feel ready, release yourself down into softness, into your Savasana, however that looks for you. Maybe it's legs stretched out long. Maybe it's feet on the floor, knees resting on one another. Maybe the hands come by the sides, or maybe the hands stay in contact with the body in some way. Maybe think about creating a bit of space between the shoulders and the ears. Adjust as much as you need to so that you can allow yourself to drop into a version of your Savasana That really makes sense. That is a place that you're able to become very soft. And as the body softens and becomes quiet and still, you might notice it's sinking. As the body softens, becomes quiet and still, you might be able to invite the mind to join it. Dropping into this place that is still and calm and quiet. And almost exactly as we did at the start of the practice, we'll draw our attention back to the way the breath moves the body. Even as you lie here in relative stillness, the breath moves the body. That movement continues, that familiar rhythm, that regular beat. Sometimes quicker, sometimes slower, always consistent. A steady metronome of activity. Notice your breath. Notice it bring with it into the body new, fresh energy, flooding the body with new life force or prana. Enough energy maybe to wiggle the fingertips, to point and flex and stretch the toes. Maybe you want to roll the head from one side to the other. And in your own time, maybe there's enough power in that breath for a giant stretch. The arms coming up and overhead. Like a yawn for the whole body, wringing you out long. And from there, you might want to draw the knees up into the chest and give yourself a big hug. Rolling over in your own time onto your favorite side. And gently bringing the body in your own time up to sit. Maybe keeping the eyes closed or the gaze cast down towards the floor, the face soft, just soaking in the last few moments of your practice. Soaking in the sensation of accomplishment. That was hard work. And also the sensation of softness, the knowledge that that quietness, that calm is always just a couple of breaths away. You can seal your practice however you like. Maybe bringing the hands to heart center, bowing the head to the heart, or anything else that works for you as a gesture of gratitude. Thank you so much for practicing with me, guys, and I'm sure I'll see you all really soon.